Hi, Elmer. We all know that the corona epidemic in China has been very serious, but the information about number of deaths, particularly, is
Yes.
big difference. The Chinese government official figure is first they said only 37 people died in corona in the last 2 months or so, since beginning of December. And then later they corrected it to 60,000. And then you have people like Affinity, the company in UK, they claim that
Yes.
it's already 600,000 dead in the last 2 months and expected to be 2 million when the epidemic is over. Anyway, nobody really know what is going on. And then the founder of Falun Gong, Mr. Li Hongzhi, recently, very unusually, he published an interview where he said, the Chinese Communist government tried to cover up everything. Actually, up till now, already 400 million people died in corona since the beginning of the epidemic. And he expected by the end of this wave or this outbreak, then it will be 500 million. Some people say it's incredible many, some people, Anyway, I would like to hear your personal opinion because I know you have a lot of experience in China and in US. You have a wide and deep contact with people within the political community and the business community. So what is your opinion?
I think we have three, including Master Lee's number, we have three sets of number. First is from the CCP, Chinese Communist Party. And they started with maybe like a 35 total, and then start with 60,000. That's from the Chinese Communist Party. And there's no question, that's a lie, total lie. Because our experience with the CCP, never the truth. You never get a real figure, whether it's GDP or population, or all the figures they've been lying. So this is we cannot believe. Number two, people like the England, these so-called research people, they have limited information. They based on their limited information, including myself. I also based on the information I get on Beijing, on the funeral home and the crematorium information. And then I extrapolate and form my own opinion, but based on very, very limited input. Now, Mr. Lee, when I heard about it, of course, it's a huge number, and I was very much shocked. But then I come to think about two things. First of all, nobody has more source of information than Mr. Lee. In China, we understand at the top highest period, Falun Gong has 100 million disciples. 100 million. That's why the communists were so scared of Falun Gong and decided to put them down with all kinds of extreme measures, illegal extreme measures. So still, I would not be doubtful if Mr. Lee still have close to 100 million followers in China. And every one of them has huge respect for Mr. Lee. And they are not afraid to supply true information to Mr. Lee directly. All right. So this is a huge difference in terms of source of information. So when I heard about this, I started thinking, nobody has more information, direct information, not from the communists, not from research, but directly from people in China. Normal people from all walks of life and also from all different areas of China. He could have somebody from CDC China, all right, who would give him information, or from the police, or from Beijing, from Politburo, etc., people working for Politburo. So his source of information is extremely, extremely important. So we need to know what the source is. I have no right to say that number is right or wrong, because my source is very limited. Let's say I know like a Manying, we know 1,000 people, right,
Yeah,
in China.
yeah,
And 1,000 and 100 million people. It's a totally different ballgame, different scale. So I can extrapolate. But talking about the source, quality of the source of information, no one in the world can compare with the Master Lee. First of all, number one. Number two, that number is a very big number. But why did he suddenly speak up? You know,
yeah.
very seldom, Mr.
Very
Lee.
interesting.
I have hardly read anything from him, or he never appear in person. And this is in writing. This is a press release, all right, from Mr. Lee. Why? Because we all know now is the CCP's weakest moment in history. The CCP has formed 100 years. Right now, this year, is their weakest movement. Huge number of people died. Whether the number is irrelevant, the issue is huge. My calculation, based on my limited calculation, is tens of millions. But Mr. Lee's, based on his source, is hundreds of millions. All right, there's a 1-0 difference. But that's not the issue. Even 1 million is a lot of people, a lot of death for China. So I would clearly say my number is the minimum. Tens of millions is the minimum. And Mr. Lee's number is the higher. So it's from tens of millions to hundreds of millions. From my perspective, I have no way to verify because in China, they are expert in covering up. Now, why he does it? This is the most important thing. It's not the number. Why he does it right now? Because he is actually starting a movement to wake up the communists, call the people in China, to tell them not only your family have died, somebody have died, but a huge number of families in China, tens of millions, even hundreds of millions of family have their elderly people died from this COVID, all right? So then they understand, wow, this is a national catastrophe. It's not only me. In China, you are not allowed to talk about it. All right. And you are not allowed to share your information. So people say, oh, maybe it's only my area. Maybe it's only my family. Maybe it's only this hospital because they made it. Suddenly, when Mr. Lee or Master Lee talk about this and going through his 100 million members back into China, and they will talk to their friends. So suddenly they wake up, wow, this is a national catastrophe created by the Communist Party. So they understand this is not because they were unfortunate. Chinese are very, they are not very angry people. Before they say, oh, this is my fault, I was unlucky, I was unfortunate, this is a natural disaster. They call it natural disaster. They don't understand whose fault it is. All right? The Chinese have been researching bioweapon. The Wuhan labs were doing gain of function. And now more and more talk about it. Finally, US is going to have a huge investigation. So the gain of function, in fact, US also contributed some money to the research. And then from Wuhan, it's starting, I don't know whether it's accidental or deliberate, spread to the world. And then now it came back to China to haunt them because their people, their vaccine is no good. They refuse to, people offer them, Pfizer offered them free vaccine they refuse to take and refuse to buy any medicine. So the whole Chinese population is a very, it has not been vaccinated, all right? That's not the only point. If you go to China, you see people spitting all the time. This has been a habit for thousands of years. It's not only from communists. Even you remember Deng Xiaoping, next to him, they put a spitting bowl. So from time to time, he would spit.
Yeah.
Why do they spit? Why do they spit? They have the infection in their respiratory system, all the way to, from here, all the way to their lung. Not to the degree of death but it's been always in history of China. You see, go to China, you see people split. But the Chinese, when they leave China, Hong Kong, Singapore, or Europe and Canada, US, they stop splitting because they recover. The air in China is horrible. The PM 2.5 is huge. And they have other pollutions in the air, all kinds of chemical, and on top of it, bio pollution. All right, and people pass to each other.
It's interesting,
Yeah,
interesting, but maybe that is an explanation why, but maybe another reason, and that is many Chinese has recently, the last few days, are coming to Europe, to US, and also in many Asian countries, and they have actually checked them, and many of them were tested positive. Yeah, but still,
exactly.
No outbreak. Although huge number of Chinese are coming to, for example, Germany, but there's no outbreak here. So what do you think? What is your explanation to that?
So what happened is these people have mild form of pneumonia, very slow. It's already there, but they have enough oxygen to keep going. They have just enough oxygen to keep going. Now suddenly this Omicron, and now of course the new one coming, or the XE 1.5 is coming. Even though it's very mild, but it catches. It gets into their cell or gets into their lung very easily. And then it spread even a little bit, all right? They have loss of oxygen. But by coming to Europe or coming outside China, the air, everything, there is far less virus than in China. The China is spreading so fast, we don't even know why. In a matter of months, they can get up to 60 or 70%. You know, Germany or Hong Kong or we have roughly 40% infection, but suddenly they can push it to 60, 70%. They claim
now they are talking about 90%.
900 million people are caught. Now let me tell you what, they have stopped testing. All right, and so how do they know the number? They've stopped testing altogether. Before they had to test several times a day. All right, now all of a sudden they stopped from November. Why? How do they know the number? I called my friends and checked. They say they have some kind of polling, telephone polling. They call up 1,000 people and then ask them, how do you feel? Are you infected? Now in China, if you are not infected, it's just turned around 180 degrees.
It's no
you
good.
You are not patriotic. If you are not infected, you are not patriotic. If you are infected, you are following Xi Jinping's order and have a quick, so-called quick, everybody gets infected and we can get on with the economy. This is what Xi Jinping is claiming. So when you do a telephone polling, they're going to tell you 9 out of 10. They're going to tell you, I'm infected. Everybody around me is infected. And then the guy who did the polling and reported, that's a regional, all right, local government, reported to central, to Beijing. They have to put on bigger numbers. Every province is competing with the next province.
That's interesting.
I'm following Mr. Xi Jinping's order, and my number is higher. My infection number is higher. In one Henan province, they claim they have 95%. Let me tell you, all those numbers, whenever communists tell you number, ignore it. Ignore it, because 10 out of 10 are lies. Even the infected number, because it's all political. They want to please Xi Jinping by saying that we follow your order. We're going to do a quick infection, overall infection, and do away with it, and we get on with life. But in reality, what we have faced in 3 years, they claim they can do it in 3 months. Don't believe it. This is not scientific. This number itself is a lie, because it's not only one person lying, but the whole country is lying because this is the communist way. You tell me to move, I pull the trigger. This is the way they are. They want to show they're obedient so that they can be promoted or whatever. This is the way the communist system works. Nothing to do with truth. All right. For them, truth has no value. The most important thing is how do I become promoted, have more money and more power.
Okay. So Elmer, do you think this epidemic will lead to the collapse of CCP?
I would say I have no guarantee, all right? I'm not sure
No, you
because I
don't
don't
need to
even live in
guarantee.
China.
Yeah.
But I would say this is the weakest moment of the Communist Party in its 100-year history. And then Mr. Lee, at the right moment, this is the right moment to tell the Chinese people what he was saying, Mr. Lee was saying, is not to us. What he tells us is not nothing to do. It will not transform into action. But by telling the people of China he has 100 million disciples, and they're going to tell their friends and families, by waking up the people to the seriousness of this epidemic, all right, we can call it whatever it is, then people understand, wow, the Communist Party has committed such a big crime, and they've been cheating, they've been fooling us by believing that they did the right thing, from zero tolerance to opening up. In fact, the Chinese did nothing prepared for this opening up. People mostly may not die of COVID. Some people may die of just the hospital is totally paralyzed. Some even normal disease, they cannot go to the hospital to get treatment, and people not die more. But because of the communist administrative failure, lots of people die. I would say half of the people die not because of COVID, because of all elderly people, when they know they cannot see their doctor, they cannot get their medicine, hospitals are close to them. Lots of people give up. Lots of people give up living. This is true.
Yeah.
Especially in China, they know if they know they are very dependent on medication. Suddenly, they don't even get the normal medicine. They simply give up their life.
I understand. Elmer, my last question. What impact do you see with what is going on now in China to Hong Kong? I mean, it's one of your main issues, right?
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Hong Kong is my main issue.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, as long as the communist CCP is in power, Hong Kong has no future. This is truth. I don't want to bring your hope up. So we need to take down I would say eliminate eliminate the Communist Party in China. Then Hong Kong has hope. China has hope. The world have safety. Right now, the world is not safe, honestly. What they are doing, we don't know. They have developed many strains of this virus. Maybe only one strain has leaked. And they may have much tougher. If you have a lab like the Wuhan lab, they spend huge amount of money, 50 billion RMB to build just the hardware. And when they want to develop this virus and this so-called increase the function, enhance the function, they have more than one strain. I'm sure they try different ways, 100 different ways. They have more potent ones. And with that in hand, this is far more dangerous than nuclear weapon. Because nuclear weapon, you can trace the source. With this, just a few test tubes, you put it into a train station or a traffic hub, you don't even know who did it. Or very hard to prove anything. This is the most dangerous weapon in the world. And they have control. They are the only one. In fact, the world gave them money, subsidy for Wuhan to develop it. And then they have paper. Actually, this is not from me. They have paper claiming success and filing patents. And of course, the world wants to do it so that they can prevent and knows how to fight this kind of a virus. But they have a different floor, different lab developing as a weapon. This is our problem. So let's say now, of course, we know they are after Taiwan. And if they are smart, and I've already heard, they're going to use the virus first. A different type, maybe more powerful ones in Taiwan. So everybody get infected. You don't even have the will to fight. This is what they would do. So this is, we call this not a normal traditional warfare.
Yeah.
Right? This is the way they fight. Communists don't fight normal warfare.
Yeah. The unrestricted warfare they're talking
Exactly,
about.
exactly. Because we all know everybody signed up not to use bioweapons. But unrestricted means they're no longer restricted for what they promised. Like what they did to Hong Kong. They signed and then they break it.
For that, maybe I have another last question.
Please, you're welcome.
Since you are very knowledgeable about different countries and you live in America, so if you now look back the past 3-4 years since you left Hong Kong and come to America,
Yes.
What change have you seen now in the perception of the Western or the free world's leader when it comes to perception of communist China?
It's really day and night. All right. When I first came, I said, you have to, what I claim is you have to make the Communist Party as a criminal organization. Because you can see, if you really read their history, they continuously committing huge crimes, not petty crimes, but huge crimes. That's why if a party continuously commit crime, they should be a criminal organization. And all their party members are criminals, conspiring, working for the party to commit crimes. So this is when I came. So when I went to the State Department in Washington, they said, show me proof. All right? Those people have they like to prefer to pacify the Chinese. They say because of the market, it's a huge market, we cannot give up. And also it's a huge source of manufacturing, like what the Germans thinking, all right? Oh, we need it as a partner. So whenever I was in Germany not too long ago, about 4 months ago, and I met somebody in the businessman, exactly the same attitude. Oh, you're kidding. China is too strong, the market is too big, and they have supply chain. They have manufacturing power. So, but suddenly, Germany, I think, is the last to wake up, to be honest with you. But America, when I was there, maybe about 30-40% people were anti-communist. They understand. Now it's 70-80% in the United States.
Yes.
And my family is in Japan. My wife lives in Japan.
They are higher.
I just came from Japan.
86%.
Japan used to rely on China for business. Yeah. There are still 40,000 Japanese companies in China. Yeah. You think Germany is big? You should know that even now Japan has made a determination that they are going to fight. They are going to fight. Whenever Taiwan is attacked, they're going to fight. And not only that, they are going to start preparing themselves because Japan may become a bigger target than Taiwan. And now we understand the Japanese Prime Minister went all over the world, especially to England. Why England? Because as we all know, England is the leader of the Navy, of naval warfare in NATO. So they want the British to send their fleet to including nuclear carrier and nuclear submarine to Japan because China is ganging up with Russia and North Korea. So they need Japan Japan needs the capability to fight with the Russian. The Russian fleet is much stronger than the Chinese fleet, all right? Nuclear submarine and so on. So they want UK to help Japan to actually fight the Russian when the war starts. So Japan, all of a sudden, in Japan, over 90% of the people now, they understand who the enemy is. Suddenly you realize, and they will be more actively in war with China than even Taiwan. Yeah. Taiwan, unfortunately, 1/3 of Taiwan still has been brainwashed. They want to unify. They've been still brainwashed by the communists. Yeah. They want to unify, and they call this patriotic. This is nonsense. You don't unify with the devil, all right? You can unify with nice people, but not with the devil. The communists are devils. Why do you want to unify with the devils? So anyway, I see now the whole attitude over even Europe, UK, UK finally, UK have huge interest in Hong Kong. Finally, they start speaking up. Yeah. And of course, Europe, I would say Europe, individual countries, some countries like Germany or France, they still dream of Chinese markets. They still dream of it. Yeah. So they are difficult. But most of the European countries, especially talking about European Parliament. They have really woken up and to the threat of the CCP.
Yeah, right. You are right. In Sweden, I think 85% of people are anti-CCP. Yeah. Okay.
Exactly.
Thank you, Elmer, for your
You're
very
welcome.
eye-opening talk. Okay. Thank you.
No.
Yeah.
Anytime.
Thank you.
Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much.